right now. I'm actually recording already. I'm recording right now.
Well,
I'm recording.
Let's get down to business. And
2.
Oh,
yeah.
2. No. This is episode 144 of Inane Blather, the only podcast that can defeat the Huns. And your source for whistling content, whistling competitions. This is good. That's going to sound so good against the background music, against the intro music. I'm sure it's perfectly in tune.
You're gonna have to write a new song to match.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It will be played on the helicopters going into Iran any day now, I'm sure, just as Flight of the Valkyries was in Apocalypse Now. But that's just a demonstration of our global impact. And you too, dear listener, can be a part of this. The cult of Inane. Inane Blather. Come one, come all.
And an Inane Blather to you.
Come one, come all to the slithering homunculus mass that is the group of listeners known as
headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
Okay. So that's how
it was a long walk, but it was worth it, you know.
It's funny, I'd never even thought of it before. Your wiener. I'd never thought of it before, but the way that I do the introduction is just literally that Michael Scott quote where he says, sometimes I start a sentence,
you start a sentence
and I just don't know where I'm going from there. That's how I start.
We'll just see where it goes.
Here we go. Let's see where we go from here. And I just try to... sometimes I forget that I'm trying to get to that drop. And I have to just kind of veer back onto the road, I guess, whatever, rocky road we were on, to get there. And sometimes a word like homunculus comes up. So either way, I think it's fitting... this inane, half-assed comedic, I guess you'd call it bullshit. Is
that the technical term? A huge bird just flew over my window. I think it was an osprey. That's what I just looked up. I was like, oh
and
my
if it
gosh.
just took a
I saw
dump,
today.
That would be like equivalent
Inane Blather
to to how we're introing during this important time when it seems like we're probably gonna go to war again or something, right? So I mean, we can date the podcast. I mean, it's 144 now. It's okay. But actually, side note, I think, because I'm going to forget, I might have put it in the calendar, but I came across a date, and I think it's July is when we posted the first episode of Inane Blather. I thought I was going to put it in the calendar so I could bring it up, but I'm sure I didn't. So if we can figure
July.
it out, we can remember to celebrate the anniversary. It's going to be like 3 years. How embarrassing.
3 years?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's about 150 episodes.
This is a good lesson of how little you achieve when you don't try.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And we've learned nothing.
Yeah.
Our opinions haven't
okay
changed.
With that.
We've learned nothing. We've taught nothing. People don't like us anymore.
Or less. Yeah.
I beg to differ there. But
They're calling it
since we
9/11, but good.
God, that's horrible.
Yeah.
I have to redo that.
I mean, we've been podcasting since your house burned down, so you think that's a coincidence, or you think that that's like there's a connection there?
Well, I didn't think there was a coincidence.
It's just like bad things happen when we podcast.
Well,
like we put out an episode.
That's only been a year of it, so we had 2/3 of that without the house burning down. It was just multiple, like floods of the studio. We had computer issues, all sorts of stuff. Like God Himself really saying, "Stop, please." Not even like
He's trying to teach us a lesson. Like your house burned down, and we're still at it. We're like 3 years.
He's like, I'm not going to connect the electrical from the house to the garage. You're gonna have to figure that out yourself if you're gonna get a podcasting studio again. And he's like, you go ahead and try talking to that electrician, and he's gonna spit in your face because he's a good Christian man. And I came to him in a dream.
And maybe you'll learn a lesson. Yeah.
Like, sorry, God, I got a 3rd bedroom coming up. That'll be the podcasting room. He's like, well, it's time for another fire.
Yeah. Are you going to put, so what, you're saying that you can't get electrical from the garage to the house?
It's just something I've been thinking of that I realized I'm going to have to come to them and say, hey, by the way, you have to set this up. And I don't know where it's going to go from there, because then so there was just an ugly conduit from the house to the garage before that just reached over the top of a sidewalk. It was just like 12 feet up in the air. Not even that far, like 10 feet up. So that's just cut off now. I mean, the conduit's just there, sticking out of the side of the garage with the wiring just
his legs
in
are
it.
sticking out.
Yeah. But now it's like, well, okay, if you find a way to wire back up to the panel in the garage, are you going to have to, like, check this panel and inspect the wiring in the garage? Because that shit ain't passing. It's like, I've put wiring in there. I framed in a wall myself and wired it. Like, that's not happening. So it's like, and that's the one that didn't burn down. So who knows? Yeah. But I don't know. I'll just have to ask him. It's just going to cost me more money. But there's a contingency for that. They build that into your loan. So they say if other things come up, they can be covered. So I can say, well, we're going to have to figure this out. How are you getting power from the house to the garage? Because there's a panel in there.
Yeah. And
you're going to have to dig up my yard or something. Another fun thing with this home building, really exciting stuff, is I guess the credit union decided to pay all of my property taxes except for my irrigation, which I called the irrigation district, and they said, yeah, for some reason, that's like half of all the calls that we get where people are delinquent on the irrigation bills is because the escrow or the bank pays their property taxes and doesn't pay their irrigation bill. It's part of your taxes. It's just a separate line item, and they don't do it. So I went out there trying to save my lawn, and there was a red lock on my on my irrigation riser, and I didn't have water. I was just like, okay. Things were going so smoothly.
I feel like you should tell the people what company didn't pay escrow or whatever.
Gaza.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
They need to hear some of those complaints, because it's like, it's annoying. If they're doing that, they need some different kind of training. And especially like these credit unions, it's like, I've called and complained to them before about some bullshit, and I had one of the guys call me back, like a higher level management, and like, because credit unions are supposed to be different than a bank.
Supposed to be this community.
It is, and it is, and they're supposed to, like, if you kind of push things, I think that they kind of, they can be a thing, and they could just get better, because, yeah, now your lawn and all of that, and they just
It's already
I don't
looking
know
pretty bad.
how they can miss that on it, but it's like, get a different system. Some people have irrigation, you know. You should know that.
Or like everyone does over here. But yeah, it was just really annoying. No, I mean, whatever. I'm just not going to have them do it from here on out. I'm just going to do it myself, so they can just not do it. It's fine with me.
Yeah.
I'll pay my own taxes. But
I pay my own taxes.
yeah, exactly. So then I can miss the payments, and it can be on me.
Yeah.
No, but the house
As
is
an
coming
American, yeah.
Man, if you're
Yeah.
coming over at the end of this week, then you'll get to come into the house and see it, and there's a roof on it, and the windows are in, and it's just really
wow.
exciting.
Windows are in.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's
and
a big
the
one.
plumbing is roughed in, and, you know, there's a little pan for the shower, and there's a tub and an insert or whatever it is. So it's really exciting. So it's a lot more to do.
Yay.
But be a few months. Man, oh man.
But
Can't wait.
But it goes quick. Like the rest
Yeah.
of it, I feel like is like, you know,
the rest of
they
it's
can
what
do
takes longer.
jobs
But
pretty. But the progress that you see is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I mean, electrical, some of that, it's like just. It's not as exciting. I think windows being in, it's like
Yeah.
without anything else. I'm
It was
like, you're like
huge.
in a house now. It has windows now. Like the elements are not in here. It's like, wow, and the walls are kind of roughly, you know, got all these studs up and stuff, but definitely the outside walls.
yep.
And yeah, it feels like, okay, this is like a real house.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
And
I've walked inside it so many times. It's really cool. And I'm just really
Yeah.
happy about the layout that I chose and set up with them, because I went with my own thing that I sent into the architect and had them work that out and blah blah blah. And so once it finally came together, I'm like, oh, thank God, I really like this. I like it a lot. So pretty
the
happy
rest
about
of it, it's like every step of the way, once electrical is in there and stuff, once you start covering the walls, like drywall can take, and like then like stuff has to dry, and there's all these other time, you know, things. It's gonna be like every thing that happens is like, oh my gosh, now it's so much better. You're loving it now, and then every step it's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I love it so much more. And then the trim is in, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, we're gonna paint,
Floors.
and it's like, you know,
Yeah, and
all
I'm
of
gonna
that.
be
Yeah.
the one to paint too, the interior. So still not settled on my exterior colors though. So people,
When do you need to decide? Put a poll
don't
out
know.
there.
Yeah,
You
I
should
know,
put a
that's what you
poll
said
out.
before. So put a poll on it.
I think put a poll on it. Yeah, I think there was a couple options. I know I talked I could see one of them, you know, like kind of a cool, I don't know, what color is your front door?
I don't know.
Is it wood?
I want wood.
Oh. And that's what I like. I know our dad's wife sent, it was like a really cool blue with like this light kind of wood that just really was like, it was very stylish. And like, I liked that. I could see it. I feel like, what do you think? Green? Like how the house, or
But
like
I
'cause
kept
it was
thinking
green
it was
before?
white, and I was just gonna have it kind of just do
Oh.
the same as the inside, and do an alabaster with the dark like navy trim that I have on the cabinets on the inside. So, but I just keep thinking about it and just not settling on it. But anyway, it's boring podcasting. And either way, you know.
This is absolutely lit.
So, people are dying in Iran, and no,
And you know what, Doug? You're a homophobe because you know what you haven't mentioned not one time
This whole
yet
month?
this month?
it's Pride Month.
This entire month. It's disgusting.
I
You
know,
make me sick.
I know.
You make me sick.
It's weird. I've been waiting for the co-host of the show to bring it up, but they didn't. So
It's not my job to educate you, you know. It's not my job to make
I'm
sure
not doing
that
your
you're a good
emotional
ally.
labor.
Ugh, gosh, you're gaslighting me right now. You're such a narcissist. I can't even believe you.
There's no such thing as gaslighting. You're just crazy. So
You just made it up because you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say right now, people can't, not everyone's going to see this because I don't think people watch the videos. my bed. Like I have this blur on the background, but all you can see is like how the bed is not made. Like that's what it's just focused on, like the whole time.
Unmade
so I just want to
bed.
acknowledge that. Yeah,
Actually,
it's like really.
My room looks a lot messier than usual too. I forgot you can.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that you can see all this piano stuff now. So there's a bunch of crap on it. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Let's move this out of the way. All right, that looks nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So, we're not really going to talk much about Iran. It just pisses me off.
Pisses me right off.
What pisses me off, not just the fact that it's like, wow, we're just engaging in warfare in the Middle East. Who knows how far this will go? But I mean, just today or last night or whatever it might be, Iran struck back at American military sites, at U.S. sites in the Middle East. So that's great.
We love. Always a good sign. You know what? I can say for sure that good things always follow events like this.
Yeah.
You know, you drop a bomb here, you drop a bomb there, and then everyone's like, okay, we're cool, right? Everything's good and fine. But yeah,
But talking about gaslighting, it's like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Like with this, this whole lead up to this just being so, I mean, almost a gross ripoff of the lead up to the war in Iraq. Like, what the fuck? How are people not seeing this? And then at the same time, it's like, oh, people are seeing this. Everyone's talking about this. Everyone's saying, hey, this sounds just like WMDs in Iraq. This sounds just the same. No one wants to go to war with Iran. No one wants to go to war with Iran. Like Charlie Kirk had his poll. Did you see R.M. Brown today?
Yes.
He even highlighted that.
Oh my gosh.
Half
like
a million
90% of people
on Twitter responded to his poll on Twitter for Charlie Kirk, and it's right-wing Twitter responding to a right-wing guy. 89% of people said no. No, we don't want to get involved with Israel's war with Iran. Of course not. And what are you expecting? Because even Charlie Kirk had said 2 months ago that we shouldn't do that. Because we shouldn't. Why would we? What exactly are you doing here? And not only, I mean, is it just horrifically stupid and just warmongering, profiteering, likely overall, it's just not good for Trump. It's just not good for him. Like, I just don't get it. And who talked him into this?
Okay, what I'm saying is, like, if this was near the end of his term, I would get it because, I don't know, because I think he hates being president too. But it's like,
he's like,
this is
fuck
really
you,
early.
Iran. And just like,
I mean, just like he hates being president. He wants to, doesn't care, doesn't want to get reelected or something.
Yeah.
It just makes like COVID. I think he was like, man, I just want to. I think he probably kind of wanted to get out of there a little bit. He just didn't have the kind of zeal.
The war then.
Yeah, just didn't make someone else look bad. But I feel like we still have 3.5 years of a Trump presidency.
Moly.
And
even more.
It's kind of like, that's what it just feels really like. This is like a long time. Like, this is like we're 6 months in, and you literally have already dropped a bomb or 3 on Iran. Like, not even 1 year have you been at the helm, and we were not at war or close to war with Iran before you took office. I don't think Joe Biden had plans to literally drop a fucking bomb on Iran.
I don't think that's something sites in Iran.
I think that, you know what I think? Little BB is just loving this shit. Just seeing like how much she can really, I mean, no, just like really, I think Joe Biden loves Israel. I don't think he would bomb Iran over it. Donald Trump, I don't know. They're just like, I guess their support their, I mean, right? Or what is the deal? Like, why would Donald Trump want to go to war with Iran? Like, what is...
I mean, the only thing that makes...
Because Bibi thinks he's cool, and he's like saying how cool America is, and that's like literally it.
He was just like glazing them. Just slobbering. Man. That whole... And
it was...
that little speech where he's slobbering all over the United States. What was funny, though, is just I just love how fucking corny Israel is. Like, how did you catch the name of their operation when they started fighting Iran was Operation Rising Lion? Like, oh my God, what did they have, like an AI generated image on like a flag for that when they introduced it to the troops, or what? Or like I just hear like, I see in my mind like a lion in a business suit, you know, or something like with some grind set guy, like a grind set,
with a red tie.
Americanized Israeli guy selling things at a kiosk. Just loving Operation Rising Lion. I just I know that I immediately need to hear Felix Biederman's take, you know, on that sort of thing is my first thoughts, you know. But nice. I mean, that's the only thing that makes so-called sense, if it can so be called. So is that I mean, Israel is fighting Iran, and so he's going along with it. And this is where the big problem is right now, is that anyone following this with a modicum of sense doesn't want to fall into the anti-Semitic trap of the untrue line of thinking.
We're talking
that
governments here.
No, I know. But I mean,
yeah.
Because it's untrue that like Israel runs United States policy, yada yada yada, that the United States is a puppet of Israel. It's the opposite way around, right? That's the entire point. The entire point is that Israel acts in the interest of the United States. That's the problem. But like, then when this happens,
because our interests are not good.
It's like, so what are the interests here? Because it doesn't seem like a good idea. Israel is already fighting on multiple fronts. I mean, unless it's like just this cynical idea of literally just turning eyes away from how much worse this genocide is actually getting, which is wild to say and think about, and how much worse American involvement is in it right now. I mean, I don't know. Or it's like, did Bibi start this war with Iran, and then he gets Trump to go along with it because, wow, thank God the United States has a complete fucking moron in office. So I can just get them to go along with it because I can convince them that it's in their best interest too. Because I fucked up. Because we're already fighting Lebanon, and we have troops over here, and we're really busy exterminating the Palestinian people. And then we just launched a bunch of missiles at fucking Iran, and they launched some back at Tel Aviv. So I need the United States to have my back on this, because otherwise, what's the strategic importance here? Who knows? I mean, we already have Israel there for us. We're already good to go in terms of cynical, disgusting, strategic importance and stuff. You know, I don't get it.
It just feels like to me, it seems like like Trump's a fucking idiot. Yeah. That's why. Because Joe Biden is brain dead, but I just don't think, like that's a little bit more like leadership. I feel like that you'd actually have to have a fucking conversation with someone who even at his delusional, decrepit, old man age is, if you could actually get him on some Adderall for a second for a conversation, he would kick Trump's ass for sure and be able to actually have a serious conversation with Benjamin Netanyahu about you're not going to fucking bomb Iran. We're not going to get into a war for you. And Trump is just a fucking moron.
Tell him we don't have the resources.
Yeah, I mean, for whatever.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to, he's not going to be all firm about it. He's going to be an actual politician diplomat. He's going to be diplomatic about it in a way that comes from some place of some knowledge.
Yeah.
The Trump administration, who runs the entire military? Pete motherfucking Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense. These are the people in the room. Exactly what you're saying. He has idiots surrounding him. They're fucking stupid. And so people like Benjamin Netanyahu, Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, whoever wants to use us for their advantage. No one stopped Russia.
Yeah.
They do things and they just keep doing things. There's no world. The world is in chaos because America's in chaos. No, not really. But, we've been a strong ally to people that we're a global superpower. We've been strong allies in these places, and we've removed ourselves from trade agreements. We don't talk to. He's talking shit on the European Union constantly.
Yeah.
He's
been
we
talking
are
shit
in
about
love
NATO
with Israel.
Since 2016.
It's while a genocide is happening, there's this undying. It's just we don't look good, and it is a little bit of the United States is we've always, and we are somebody. We're a world player here, American president. People know who the fuck it is all over the world. And now, look who it is.
Yeah.
It's beyond embarrassing. It's not prideful to say that we have had a place of leadership in the world. That's a fact. Whether or not it's deserved, those are all different conversations.
Yeah, it can be the opposite of prideful. I mean, it's imperialism. It is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. We created the power vacuum. We removed ourselves from leadership to put who in power? I don't know. Yeah. We just got too good at that game,
A dumbass in power that's getting taken advantage of abroad and is creating chaos domestically. Well, it looks like, so everyone, in Europe looks at the United States and is like, I feel sorry for them. I was talking to Sophia about that. I was like, man, it's crazy. You watch the BBC World Service or something like that. People's views on the United States from outside the United States, it's not looking good. And it's not like before where it's they're fat cheeseburger eaters or something like that, that drive SUVs. No, it's man, their country doesn't look like it's in good shape. I feel
unwell.
Bad for them, and they're not doing the right things. It's because of the tariffs. That's what it was. And the tariffs and all of this crazy stuff.
And we're just 6 months in.
Yeah.
And Doge.
Yeah. This was just a few months ago.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We're in June.
Elon Musk has
Pride
come
Month.
and gone already. But yeah. So that makes sense to me, actually, what you're saying. So it's more, it's not that, it's not like Netanyahu really can force his way into this. It's just that you see this opportunity because of this
He's a world
lack
leader
of leadership
that has had power
in the United
for
States.
a lot of years.
If anyone else was president, it's no matter how servile the politicians individually are to AIPAC and Israel, if anyone else was president, he's I can't do this now because I won't have enough backup. But if Trump's president, he's I can do whatever the fuck I want. So I don't know, but it's I just don't see the same thing as it's at least with all of the lying and gaslighting and propaganda leading up to the Iraq War. It's it's kind of funny. It's at least they had some evil plans, At least they had lines
oil.
Drawn up
Ever
for
heard
who,
of it?
Yeah, for who was getting the oil. At least they, and the dumbass in charge then was like avenging his daddy kind of thing. Like people had like motivations here. And now it's just like chickens with their heads not even cut off. They're just like people as smart as chickens running around the Oval Office. And it's like any other president,
bird brains.
you know, the Netanyahu comes to him and he's like, well, I'm thinking about starting another front. I need to take care of Iran, like I've been saying for decades. The other president just says,
so forget about it, cuz.
And he says no. I forgot I was waiting to use that drop earlier. But yeah, it's like, because as has been relayed to everyone, as far as I know, I mean, I'm in a bubble, but anyone that's not on Fox News all the time, over and over again now, hopefully you've learned that Netanyahu and the United States government, but Netanyahu especially, has been whining and crying about the possibility of Iran having nuclear weapons for 30 plus years now. It's been happening over and over again. I remember them talking about it during the Obama administration. I remember them talking about it during the Bush administration. I remember this. They've always been talking about it. And that's why they had these nuclear deals. And that's why they're like, well, we want to... They were treating them kind of like Iraq back then, too. Oh, we want to be able to send in inspectors. And, oh, these people, they don't want to be part of the normal global, you know, partnership and stuff. It's just all bullshit. They want to have someone locked out of their own partnerships that they can keep in the axis of evil, you know. It's like, I don't understand why Iran can't have nuclear weapons, to be honest. Israel has a bunch, but...
That's what I'm saying. That's my biggest thing.
I think that just no one should have them, but...
Who the fuck is the United States to tell people that, though? Who are we? Like, why do we get to a say? We like,
get to say because we're the only ones who have used them. So we get to say. We're the only ones who have used nuclear weapons.
It's like, I just don't get who... It's so strangely, like, embarrassing or whatever it is. It just seems...
It's so...
You know, when you zoom
You're so
out, like...
selfish and stupid when you do that.
Like, we're over here. We can't let them have, you know, nuclear weapons, whatever. And like you're saying, the view of America now is not just, like, fat Midwesterners or whatever. It's like a bunch of people of color in the streets of LA getting gassed by our cops. You know, it's like, that's kind of what America looks like, is a bunch of cool people
that can't afford healthcare, you know, beaten by police.
People exactly dying in the streets, you know,
that don't know how to read
because they got into debt, or because they got into debt going to school, you know, or whatever. It's just you know, it's a bit rich to think that we should even have that good of a big of an opinion. It's like, what, because we buy everything in the world? Because we're trying to fill the holes in our heart that comes from having a lack of community? Because we're all just bloodthirsty capitalists?
Yeah, because our personalities and political opinions are formed out of consumption, as Hassan Piker expertly details often. You know, the entire culture war is based on consumption habits. In America,
like tuberculosis consumption.
Yes, yeah, pretty much. Now that RFK Jr. You know is in charge
with our healthcare program.
And we don't have healthcare.
Is there like an agreement though that says Iran, because they like lost some sort of war? Okay, wait. What I was gonna say about that? If there is an agreement, why would anyone listen to the United States about following a fucking agreement with the way that it's common knowledge, indigenous people, other trade agreements, all the kind of stuff that we just like don't hold to? It's like, if I was Iran and had signed some agreement with the United States, I'd be like, I'm not gonna be held to those terms and just do whatever the fuck I wanted. Yeah. Because be like, you guys do that. You know who made a lot of sense? His name, little guy by the name of Osama bin Laden.
Yep.
That was, and I don't say this lightly, worse than 100 September 11th.
Well, at least with his views on Palestine and the United States involvement. And you know, this is all to say that it does, I mean, whether the intention is there or not, it does distract from the fact that the tide was turning, has been turning on Israel, and at least in the United States, and it has been for a while. And what they've been doing ever since the inception of this disgusting United States, the United States-born NGO, Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. That's the name of it, right? The one that just sounds like all these other ones, but they just started it in February. They go around, they try to, they spread propaganda. I've seen people like Ethan Klein, post stuff like this, where it's like, geez, that came from a place called the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. And then you look them up and it's like, this has been around since February. Oh, it was started as a joint venture between the United States and Israel, and it's already everywhere. And what they do is they provide aid, so-called aid, if it can so be called, to Gaza, where they let in only so much as they've been doing. Now that Netanyahu is actually letting some food in, right? Because, I mean,
wow, what a saint he is. What a saint he is to let in food for people. Wow. Look at him. He's amazing.
I mean, there's transcripts of that,
God.
right? Where he says, it's looking, I can't have the media seeing starving children, saying that. So it's like, so they start letting food in, supposedly.
God,
and then,
disgusting.
With this Gaza Humanitarian Aid Foundation, when they do it, anyone who actually gets there, they're subject to getting full surveillance scans for AI facial recognition stuff. They get everything logged. And, of course, on top of that, all that's been happening recently is once they get to these aid stops, they get fired upon by the IDF. They get shot. All of these people come from miles around, and they get shot when they go get food. And it's just there. It's in the news. This happens. It's disgusting, and literally not a single person on fucking planet Earth with a soul in their body could, like, look at that and say that that's okay, but it's what's happening. It's like, what are we going to do about it? It's horrific. And then to turn around and have enough propaganda coursing through American media that people actually, I mean, that people like don't even trust UNRWA, like the United Nations relief organization for Palestinians. Like, it's insane. Like, it's so disgusting. Yeah. And it's already being pushed to the back burner because we're starting World War III. So, I mean, Palestinians,
it's truly disgusting.
Will like cease to exist if this keeps happening. Like, they're literally going to be genocided, like just gone, if they just continue like this. It's insane. They're going to kill millions of people if they just have their way, and there's nothing to do about it. You go protest about it, you get deported.
Yeah, you're sounding pretty anti-Semitic, actually, saying, all those facts and things. It's
because it's Pride Month, and gay people are anti-Semitic.
Yeah,
queer people.
And Natalie hates non-binary people. Yeah, I didn't realize such the coordinated thing. The Gaza Humanitarian. I didn't realize about that. But I had heard, especially, I had heard people getting shot at aid stations. But I had also, even, there's like people crowding around and like begging. Like, there's like only like the way they let aid in is like scary. Like, it's so incredibly dangerous. Like, these like crowds of people that are like clamoring for food. It's a perfect opportunity to be like, oh, things getting out of hand and shooting people and all these kinds of things. It's like,
And then they pass it along to gangs that also steal the aid, and then they blame Hamas for it. That's another thing. And it's like, why would Hamas steal food from their people?
It's shocking that anyone could be still... I don't even know who supports Israel besides the United States. I don't even get it. Does anybody else, though? Is like... I don't really know, like, how much people are going to bat for Israel besides the United States. I mean, who else do they need, frankly?
Yeah.
I mean, militarily or whatever, until we start...
They have veto power in the United Nations. Doesn't matter what we do. I mean, although right now, this was today, 15 international human rights organizations have called on the Israel and U.S.-backed Gaza food delivery group, Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, and other private groups running humanitarian aid delivery in Gaza to cease their operations or face legal consequences. In a letter sent on Monday to GHF and the affiliated Safe Reach Solutions and UG Solutions, the people that are actually doing the logistics for this fucking psychotic group that's just like this CIA kill squad, pretty much, that masquerades as an aid NGO. The rights advocates warned that private contractors operating in Gaza in collaboration with the Israeli government risk, quote, aiding and abetting or otherwise being complicit in crimes under international law, including war crimes, crimes against humanity, or genocide. They also noted that the contractors may be liable under U.S. law and in other jurisdictions. It's like, yeah, and it says this letter marks the latest warning against GHF, which has been mired in controversy since replacing most UN-run relief operations in Gaza. Places like UNRWA, I don't know, the UNRWA, like, they've been helping for years. Like, I donate to them monthly. I mean, because they're one of the only reputable relief organizations in the world, you know, to help people in Gaza. And like, and I mean, the United States even like barred them. Like, that was just months after October 7th. They almost had them stop. But the United States has the power to do that. Just say, no, the UN, you can get the fuck out of here. You know, this literally a peacekeeping organization? Nah, we got it. We've got it from here with some private contractors and a shadow group that we just formed in February. We're going to start doing this. We're going to start distributing aid under Israel's direction. And what? Yeah. All they get to do is send them a letter saying, by the way, you're committing war crimes. I don't know.
That's what people talk about. It's like toothless, you know, like these, the UN or whatever, you know, they don't have
international
and it's
law.
Like, yeah. You know, because it's like, that's like such a high level of cooperation. You really have this maybe understanding that people are going to be able to be shamed into doing things. Like, it's like such a high level of government and like collaboration, like across the whole world, you know, with people that sit on the UN. That's a thing where you're talking about like these aid workers and people like not trusting like the people that are doing this and like them not having like kind of like an authority to them. It's like the people that do this work that are like in UNRWA and the UN and Amnesty International, whatever, any of these like huge
human rights
international, like the people that work those things, that dedicate their lives, it's like they're not just fucking political bozos. You couldn't name a single one of them. They don't do it for the clout, you know. They do it, they're like I mean, nobody's just perfect, whatever, but you know,
World's
calm,
Kitchen or whatever it was.
Well-read,
doing it. They got killed by Israel. Yeah,
just like really, you know, depth to their perspective and like thoughtfulness of, you know, geo-fucking politics, and then to have them undermined by bozos like back to Pete Hegseth, you know, some motherfucker like that. It just is really. You hate to see it. You really hate to see it.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Literally. I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Truly.
And I forgot, so So GHF, I mean, it's been from the get-go, it's been so controversial. It's been an absolute nightmare because it's the opposite of what an aid organization should be, and doing the opposite of what an aid organization should be doing in terms of delivering food to a population of over 1 million people that are on the verge of famine. So, I mean, like 2 months into it, the head of the foundation resigned, and that was the last that I was reading about it, and I forgot that was the case. And so a Trump advisor was appointed to run the foundation after the former head resigned, and evangelical leader Johnny Moore. Like,
you can't have a name like Johnny Moore and lead an international aid organization into Gaza getting people food. You can't. It's not. That breaks international humanitarian law right there. Johnny Moore.
And spells it, and also spells it JOHNNIE.
No.
Yeah.
Ew.
Evangelical leader and advisor to Donald Trump on interfaith issues, appointed to the new head of Gaza Humanitarian Foundation during a tumultuous rollout last week. This is June 3rd. Johnny Moore, a member of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom and founder of the boutique advisory firm Kairos Company, was appointed the new head of the GHF after Jake Wood, a former Marine, resigned, saying he could not guarantee the GHF's independence from Israeli interests. And so it's like,
no.
So then this other guy takes over. He's like, well, I'm not going to guarantee anything. He's like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll just have it. Just get appointed by Donald Trump.
Makes my job easier.
Yeah. Moore has been a vocal defender of the GHF, who has bristled at public criticism of the rollout, telling the UN chief on X, oh my God, that reports of Palestinians killed and injured while seeking aid in Gaza was a, quote, lie spread by terrorists. How can you do that?
Man. That is so fucking American. That's a lie spread by terrorists.
That's
right there.
Crazy.
Mr. UN. If my name's not Johnny Moore,
it's
that's
just
Johnny with an I-E.
Something that's happening. There's video. There's accounts of it. Like, it's tough to get real accounts.
The last guy quit because of it, it sounds like. You know?
There's like, why do you think you have this job? And it's tough to get real information because more journalists die in Gaza than any other place on earth because Israel constantly murders journalists. And the ones that they don't murder, they generally just don't let in. They don't like journalists, so it's hard to know for sure. But it's just something that's happening. Something that happened.
Yeah, there's a bunch of dead journalists.
That's a lie. It's a lie spread by terrorists like Hamas. Like, good God. Yeah. In a statement, he lauded the GHF's reported delivery of more than 7 million meals in the last week, numbers that haven't been independently verified, and also took aim at the media reports about murky finances and chaotic rollouts of the aid distribution centers in Gaza. Let's see.
Wait, I want to say murky finances sounds like it's like a name of a finance place. Like,
Murky.
Come on down to Murky Finances.
Murky and More.
It's like
Murky
like
and
their
More
last
finance.
name or whatever, and they're like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, I wonder what Kairos Company. That's
what I was
already
thinking. He's gonna lead a humanitarian aid organization, and he owns a boutique consulting firm or something.
An
it's
evangelical that started a boutique consulting firm.
Yeah, he should lead up
theKcompany.co.
He should lead up getting aid into Gaza during this humanitarian crisis.
Horrible.
There was nobody better for the job than Johnny Moore. You know, he was the only one who knew the situation in Gaza. You know, who knows it better than Johnny? He's up on it. He learned that during his consulting, time.
This website sucks. What the fuck? This is who you're going to go with? And it's just,
send it to me.
We get the job done, ... whatever it takes. Well, it's the kcompany.co. The K Company. We are a strategy firm filled with master communicators prepared to help you accomplish your goals. You have something to say, and we can help you say it. The best delivery on the most sought-after platforms to the largest audiences. These sentences are just real mouthfuls. About founder Johnny Moore. From one of the world's largest universities to Hollywood's most prolific television producer to America's largest communities of faith to multiple presidential candidates and a multi-billion-dollar financial services firm, Johnny Moore has been America's go-to communications strategist when the stakes are high and the mission is critical. So he's literally just like this total PR slug, this PR worm. Just
man, he's just plugging, always be plugging, like he began his career at the 100,000 student Liberty University, where he served as the school's senior vice president for communications during the time when Liberty University added more than 75,000 students to its annual enrollment and added more than $1.2 billion to its endowment and cash reserves.
What a fucking sentence.
What a sentence. It's like, you were the senior...
He began his career...
Vice president for communications? What the fuck did that have to do with...
During the time where they added a bunch of students.
And
he's like, hey, I was vice president of communications when we added $1 billion to the endowment. Okay.
It's like, what does that have to do with that? I guess you're letting me know about it. But just like all of the numbers and like the titles and stuff, it just like...
Reverend Johnny Moore is also a member of the clergy. As a noted evangelical Christian leader, he is best known for his consequential work at the intersection of faith and foreign policy in the Middle East. In 2020, he was named one of America's 10 most influential religious leaders. He is the president of the Congress of Christian Leaders, serves on ADL's Task Force for Middle East Minorities.
Oh, I wonder what that means.
And is the youngest ever recipient of the Simon Wiesenthal Center's prestigious Medal of Valor for his efforts rescuing Christians from ISIS in 2015. Okay, that's the only cool thing on here. He is also a commissioner on the bipartisan U.S. Commission for International Religious Freedom appointed by the President of the United States. So 2020, huh? He was named one of America. Yeah, he's a PR guy in communications.
He was named one of America's 10 most influential religious leaders, and it's like, by who? He was just named that by he was named. You just
it doesn't say.
Was that Time magazine? Was that the New Yorker?
Christian Time. It was
that's
Time AD. That's true. In 2020, he was named one of America's most influential religious leaders. That's it.
Yeah.
So what is the ADL's Task Force for Middle East Minorities? Let's see here.
I got on this website. The homepage is one of the worst things I think I've ever seen.
His website? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
It's like
on mobile.
It's like really
it's horrific.
Yeah, I'm like, this is like genuinely like my graphic design is my passion. Yes. This would be like the tag on that is like
do something cool and have the sidebar on the right and sideways and make sure that the word doesn't fit.
Yeah, together it's like together, and then the ER is on the bottom. It's like all stacked, and then the handwriting. Oh my gosh, that's like almost. I just can't even believe how bad it is. It's like, if this is ironic, I'm into it. If it's not. God, the people on the right are so fucking lame. Man, it's amazing how
they have
incredibly boring they are and totally lacking in any sort of like understanding of beauty or whatever it is.
The ADL's
creativity to me is like,
and it's this weird green color. It's kind of off-putting.
It's like Brat.
It's like Brat, but it's not quite there. So
it's like Tarb.
The
just Pratt backwards.
ADL's Task Force on Middle East Minorities has a Medium blog, and they have had one post October 7th. Unity.
He's a PR guy. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't think he's written anything. These are George Selim, ADL Senior Vice President for National Affairs. Unity and Solidarity, ADL's Task Force on Middle East Minorities in 2023. It was a distinct pleasure for me to serve alongside the task force co-chair. In 2023, safety and security of all minorities in the Middle East was our foremost concern. Middle Eastern, North African, and Iranian Jews. Yada yada. May 10th. Really? So he published published this in February of 2024 and just never even mentioned October 7th. That's
Interesting.
Interesting. He mentioned a devastating earthquake in Syria.
All I'm thinking about right now is him being like, I was senior vice president of communications when we added 75,000 students, as if it was like his newsletters that built all the buildings for all of the new students that were like obviously planned like really, really in advance. It's just really funny to think about.
It's because he designed the website that was that they signed up on, and all these people at Liberty University. You know, it's like Dan Flashes, where all the guys are in the store and just looking at the shirts, and all these sheltered Christian kids that were just like had never really been on the internet before. Were like, oh my god, the green was just burning into their eyes. They didn't know how to navigate the page because it was so wacky and wild, and they had the bar was on the right. Who does that?
It was honestly, it upset me. It was like just like made my skin crawl a little bit.
Saudi
I hated
Arabia?
it.
God.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm just going through this. The ADL's Task Force on Middle Eastern Minorities did issue a statement urging the European Union to designate the Islamic Republic of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organization. So they do stuff like that.
Yeah. He seems like he would have gotten a lot of training in that, and how to work with that. What was his position with that?
Oh, he's just on the board. Let's see. Let me go back here because there's it's the task force on minorities. It's funny. It's really, I'm just going crazy here. So let's go back to talking about Iran before we quit here. How is this not gonna go like Iraq? Is it just going to fizzle out? Because everyone, or do they just wait? You all right?
Oh, I just thought we're just playing a game
here.
And I'm like,
or do they just wait 23 years and be like, that's long enough. And they just decide to do this stuff again. I just don't. It just drives me crazy. It's just the fact that I was watching Hassan, and he was watching Fox News, and the way that I forget who they were even talking about, but the way that fucking Jesse Waters so easily just slipped in multiple, like just talking about a guy because he's Muslim. Just slipped in words like terror, Islamic terror, like just slipped in these few things, made a reference to 9/11, all these things in like one sentence. Like it just, it just brought me back. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Are people going to be playing fucking Lee Greenwood before the national anthem again? Are we this fucking stupid?
Oh my God. That's what I'm just...
Like...
Yes.
Because...
Yes. Pete Hegseth is the Secretary of Defense, Doug. They're that fucking stupid. They're that fucking stupid.
Even Charlie Kirk, when he was just completely changes his mind about war with Iran, and he's looking at Trump's press conference that he called after they struck Iranian sites, and he's just slobbering all over him. He's just like, see, this is the team. These are the guys. Can you imagine what this would be like if it was Biden and Kamala and stuff, is what he was saying. But he literally called it, he said, this is Team America. And I was like, Team America? How do you, like, I feel like I'm taking
that much
pills.
of a loser. How much are you? God, you're just,
but it's like,
I really feel like, no, I'm thinking, so what we're going to do, he's going to make someone do a 9/11 on us because he's like, remember how popular George W. Bush was after the president, after that happened?
And he's been on Twitter.
They loved him.
He's been on Twitter. He's like, George Bush did it, right? He's probably convinced that George Bush did 9/11. So he's like, I have to do my own. I still have Rudy around.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, boss. No, and then Charlie Kirk,
I did great.
motherfuckers like that. Yeah, they're gonna stick to it. It was crazy to see Charlie Kirk, how much he was just like, it's like, you cannot admit you were ever wrong. Dear leader is never wrong. And then when we get 9/11, again, then you'll be like, oh, you're gonna complain about the American lives were lost and blah 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 blah, and you'll just have another talking point to never have to discuss the reason why this happened in the first place is because your president is the stupidest fucking person in America. And that's saying something. He's the worst.
Yeah, that was another thing. I mean, I guess, whatever. If we go a little long, we didn't have a pod last week. But, I know you need to go. But that was one thing that really got to me was when I heard Charlie Kirk say, you know what, I just leave it up. He literally said, like,
he's earned our trust.
Yeah, whatever President Trump, I stand with whatever President Trump thinks is like what he says. He's like, whatever
because he's an alpha.
Says. Yeah, but I mean, just this whole, like,
I'm with him. That's
him no matter what. Yeah, and it's like, I can't think of any person like that for me. Like, I just don't understand that. Not even just politicians, which is just crazy to me, thinking that, like, well, I just stand by them. Whatever they say has got to be right.
Especially politicians.
That's insane. But
a musical artist, I understand that way more than
what
a
I was
fucking
I was like, even
congressman?
That, where it's just like, well, it's gotta be good. Like an actor or a musical. It's like, is it? I mean, no. No one's like that. Be your own fucking person. What are you talking about? Like,
be your own
no one's
person.
Like that.
God.
Even people that you love dearly, like, I could look at Tom York and be like, yeah, I didn't like that. Okay, I didn't like that that album that he put out on his own. Whatever. It's not a big deal. I don't have to blindly trust
it's not a big
something
deal.
because I agreed with the majority of what they did before, or I trusted their output before, or, well, this movie's got to be good because Tom Cruise is in it, or whatever. And even
with
if I
movies
watch
like Tom
it,
Cruise in them,
you can't lose. But even after I watched it and discovered that it wasn't good, I'm going to convince myself that it is good because Tom Cruise is in it, so it has to be good. Like, how is that possible?
Okay, we can leave this on a cliffhanger and talk about it next pod because that leads into that article that I sent you where they cannot admit that they're wrong. It'll be there. It's too much. Because they can't admit they're wrong. They won't admit they're wrong, and they can't conceive of it.
And that's
it's beyond their
THEIR.
comprehension.
They can't admit they're wrong. It's both
Because
of
Natalie
them.
hates non-binary people. Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that too. Because Natalie hates non-binary people.
I know. I wish you would do that drop so people.
God, these are way off.
So all of our
So loud.
new listeners won't think that I actually hate non-binary people.
Yeah. To all of our new listeners,
go kill yourself. Go sit in the middle of the road and let a car run over you.
and you know why? 'Cause-
Everybody's telling us to stop doing what we're trying to do.
and I don't like it. During Pride Month, no less.
Yes, that's homophobic.
During Pride Month. You need to work on your lighting, man. Not that lighting. I'm sure you did that just fine. No, it's really funny. It's really changed off and on.
The lighting, it's this webcam. I hate this webcam. I look so, I swear for anybody who watches this, I'm so much better looking in person. I look like, I always just, it's like my skin and I just look like, well, I mean, then people are like, no, that's what you look like. And I'm like, oh my God, that's awful. But yeah, it's Umberto's.
Looks good.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Thank you. I like it. They bought it on the street by Pike Place.
Nice.
It's really, it must be like some real silver or silver plated or whatever. Cause
cool. You're like, because it's making me break out.
It fell off the back of the truck. That's what Umberto
bad.
said. Yeah, it was like $35.
Nice.
And it's really, yeah.
Very
It was just
cool.
like on a towel. You know, someone's like, hey, psst, you know, you want
Hey,
some.
buddy. He opened up his trench coat, and Umberto said, hey, no, I'm trying to get to the guy behind you.
Yeah, that naked guy
selling,
behind you. Yeah,
that's selling some chains. I don't want to see your penis.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
They would never say that.
Well.
All right, bye.
You're ugly. You are disgusting. I'm going to kill you.
Okay, time to be done with this podcast.
Yeah, love you, Danae.
Okay, well, here's to hoping that just like everything else that Donald Trump does, it just fizzles out and nothing really comes of it. That's what I'd say. I would love for this episode to just be totally dated and everyone's like, remember worrying about that?
What? Yeah, the genocide?
No, the
yeah, no.
Iran. But yeah, the genocide is ongoing. So
anybody dropping bombs, don't do that. That's not a good thing to do. Don't drop bombs, you know? It causes damage. Is that think that's good for the environment? I think that's a good use of resources to fly your plane over there to drop a bomb on an empty building? That's so fucking pathetic. That's so lame. Giving them a call, we're going to be there in 24 hours. You better get your ass out of there unless you want to get killed, be dead. And they're like, ah! And then they just drop a bomb on a building with some other planes in it. And it's like, don't worry, we got more toys over here that we can play with. And then they'll just go do that.
Oh, with planes in it. I thought you were just talking about apartments in Gaza. But
oh no, I'm talking about them
that's what
bombing.
I'm saying.
Like
they're like, we warned them when we told them to leave, and then we destroy
I'm
the
saying
buildings.
like in Qatar, how they call like how you get you know when you're doing whatever you know.
Yeah, because they follow the rules.
That's
of
not
war.
empty buildings. That's yeah, exactly. That's not war. That's genocide or whatever. You know, this is like some conflict that's happening, and you know, there's been no casualties yet or anything. So it's like mostly just a stupid waste of resources. It's I guess a dick measuring contest or something or whatever. It's just like a little bit of showing your strength, and it's like so incredibly destructive. It's like it's so like you're dropping bombs on things. Bombs are not good things to be dropping on things. Don't do that.
Literally,
don't do that.
The coolest thing that human beings do is build things. That's kind of our thing. It's like, and it takes longer to build than it does to destroy. So why fuck all this stuff up?
I know.
What's the point?
Who knows? Because you have a small penis, I guess. That's Donald Trump's like guiding.
I was like, damn, what the
sort
fuck? I was like, why do they keep
I'm gonna
doing
ban
this?
you.
Because you have a small penis. I'm like, oh.
Because Donald Trump or Benjamin Netanyahu or whatever.
I forgot that it wouldn't start over.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they said I have a small penis.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's what Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu are doing, and Vladimir Putin and all of these guys.
Just being world stage incels.
God.
Team America World Incel. Well, that's what we'll do.
Nice to be the best.
We'll finally let's rewatch Team America.
We've been meaning to.
And then we'll talk next week about abortion.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Amanda.
I love everyone
shout out
who's
to
listening.
Brown.
Aaron Brown, our Lord and Savior.
Shout out to Donald Trump.
People have to flush their toilet 15 times.
Yeah, shout out to Donald Trump.
Right now, you're very close to a world war on this whole.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Bye.
Just kidding. Love you, bye.
Okay, bye.